Hi, we're going to learn how to do lab number 2. So you need to be down on the continuous data tab. So go down to the bottom of your screen, click on continuous data. You're going to use the data from your lab number 1. You'll use the continuous from your lab 1. So you can just copy and paste it in. You can retype it in, whatever you need to do. You can put that in there. So if you look at your computer and on your Excel and you click data, if you have this version of Excel, you'll have either the words data analysis right over here, or you will have a big blank rectangle. If you have the words data analysis right here, you're good to go. You can stop with the tutorial on how to add the data analysis tool, and you can fast forward to just the how to do the lab part. This part of the video is just showing you how to get that tool onto your Excel. And you'll only have to do this once. When you go back to Excel to do the next lab that requires this, you will not have to add it again. It'll stay on there. And also, you have to use Excel because the numbers program from Mac that comes with your Apple computers does not have the data analysis tool. And Google Sheets, I think it might be able to be added on with an extension. I actually think the extension costs like $2.99 or something, unless they've changed it. And I don't know anything about Google Sheets. I've tried using it a few times, but it does not have nearly as much of the functionality as Excel. So anyway, so I am going to just make my screen a little smaller because I have a weird button down there at the bottom that is making it so I can't see what I'm supposed to see. In order to add that data analysis tool, I need to click on File, then go down to Options. If your computer does not have the little file thing up here, you probably have the other version. So just hang on, I will go through that as well. So once you get here, click on Add-ins and look down at the bottom where it says Manage Excel Add-ins. Then click Go. You'll get this little box pop up. This little box, you're going to click on Analysis Toolpack and Analysis Toolpack VBA. This is what we are adding on to our Excel. Now once I click OK, notice that now it says data analysis right there in that rectangle, and I am good to go to do this lab. So hold on a second and we will go through how to add that tool onto the other form of Excel, and then we will get into how to do this lab. Thank you. It's going to have a different way of installing the analysis tool pack. So the first one was on my PC, this is on the Mac. I have different data set on this computer, so this is the one I'm going to use. Once again, the instructions over on the first screen, they are a little bit different, but just don't even worry about it. Anyway, let's take a look at how to add that data analysis tool. So I'm going to click on the Data tab. And when you click on the Data tab on this version of Excel, over here there's Analysis Tools, but it doesn't say Data Analysis. So when you click on Analysis Tools, you have options of what thing to add. So I'm going to just click on Analysis Tool Pack and click OK. Once I click OK, now Data Analysis is there. So now we are ready to do this lab. So this lab, you are going to use the descriptive statistics to calculate some different things. Now, if you are calculating it by hand or with your calculator and not using Excel, you will lose points on this lab. You have to use Excel to do these calculations. I will be checking to make sure that you used Excel and you didn't do it by hand. I can see which formulas are put in. I can see if you have the analysis tool pack. So you will lose points if you aren't using Excel to do these jobs. All right. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the data analysis tool, and I'm going to get this look for what I need to use. I am looking for descriptive statistics. That's what I'm looking for. So you click on the data analysis, click on descriptive statistics. Both versions of Excel have this. Now I will click OK, and I'm going to get this interesting thing here. The input range is your data. So I'm going to highlight all of my data all the way down. Now let's say that I am lazy or not even necessarily lazy, it's just smart using the tools that I have. Let me see, how many do I have? I have a total of 140 data values. Okay, I'm not going to highlight all the way down. Let's say I don't want to scroll all the way down, so I just scroll part way. I can just change this number to 140, and then it's going to highlight all of it for me. So it goes from A4 to A40. So what these little dollar signs do on Excel is it's telling me when I paste into a different thing, don't change these numbers. These numbers remain the same no matter what I'm doing with that I'm always selecting all of them. We put dollar signs in there to make them static numbers, to make them numbers that don't move. So I have my input range right there. And my output range, I'm going to highlight where I want my output range. So I want my descriptive statistics to go into this box right here. So I have, it goes from 04 down to R21. So it tells me all of the boxes that it wants it to go in. Now what I need is I want summary statistics. This tells me that I am putting out a summary of all of the statistics. So this is what I'm doing. I'm putting out a summary of all of my statistics, and it's going to give me basically the same information that the one variable statistics gives me on my calculator, but it actually is going to give me a little bit more than that. Some of the things I'm not going to use right now, we're going to save those and use them in a future lab, because yes, we're going to use these descriptive statistics in a future lab. So do your input range, your output range, and then summary statistics. Once I click OK, it is going to give me information what happened. There we go. And I'm going to expand my boxes just by dragging these open a little bit. So take a look here. It gives me the mean, gives me my standard deviation, it gave me the median and the mode, and it gives me my range, my maximum, my minimum. It sums them all up, tells me how many data values I have, all of this jazz. A lot of this stuff has a sample standard deviation. So this particular thing automatically assumes that this is it just says standard deviation, sorry. Gives me the standard deviation. It automatically gives me the population standard deviation, but that's okay. We're just going to use that. The rest of it, kurtosis and skewness, we're not using that right now. We're also not using variance. We don't care about that, so we're not using those right now. Same with standard error. We'll talk about that in later weeks, what standard error means, but this is all the pretty stuff. All right, so in order to get my mean, one thing that is really cool about Excel is you don't have to retype things. You can just put in a reference of what you want and where you want to get it from. So when I want my mean, I'm going to have it take my mean from that box. So if you put equal in here, it is saying I want this box equal to something else. So I want this box, so put in equal, then just click on this other box over here and hit enter. It populates the box for me. Once again, on standard deviation, which S here is standard deviation, I'm going to click equal, and I'm going to click on this box that has standard deviation in it, and then hit enter. It populates those boxes for me. What I want you to do in number 2, there's 2 different ways to do this. You can either calculate the value that would be your upper and lower values, so 2 standard deviations above the mean and 2 standard deviations below the mean. What are those values? What are at the z-score of 2 and the z-score of -2? What values are those? And do any of yours lie outside those values? Or what you can do is you can take like your upper value, like for example here I could take 9.3 and I could take 4.4 and figure out what their z-scores are and see if those z-scores make those outliers. So you have to calculate some z-scores. You have to show me why or why not, why you have outliers and what they are, or why you don't have outliers. You need to give me some of that math. You need to give me some of that. That's what you're going to type in here. Now, once again, for median, I will click equals, and I'm going to click over here and hit enter. So for mode, once again, click equals, click over here and click enter. So the way that I want you to determine the skew of your data is based on the lessons that we did this week. I had a lesson, I believe it was in 3.2, where you compare your mean and your median, and you, based on the comparison of your mean and your median, you determine whether or not your data is skewed. And remember, if your mean and median are basically the same number or super, super close, then you probably are not skewed. Like, for example, look at mine. My mean is 7.047. My median is 7. Those numbers are practically the same number. Those are super, super close. So my data is bell-shaped. It is basically not skewed. But yours could be different depending on your data. So take a look at that, and I want to see that explanation right here. I want to hear you say, because my mean and median are really close, my data is not skewed. I want you to write that out. All right, so we're going to have to do a little bit of math here. And once again, I want the math to be in Excel. I do not want you to do it separate in your calculator. I want you to do it in Excel. Lower values equal easy. You hit equal and go down here for minimum. That's easy. Q1. Excel has built-in things that will allow you to look at your quartiles. So take a look. I'm going to hit equals, type in the word quartile. So here we have quartile.exe, and it even shows you the array and quartile. So once again, I want all of these values. I know that it ends at 141. So I want you highlight all of your data, or you at least put A4 to A141, comma, I'm looking for quartile 1, so I just put in 1 right there, and then close my parentheses, hit enter. It'll give me my Q1. Q2, as you may recall, is your median. So that, whoops, that's not what I want. So that is done for you. Whoa, I just messed that one up. Let's try this once again with feelings. Equals equals median, and then quartile 3, same thing, equals, oops, quartile, I am having issues for some reason, okay, equals quartile, and I'm going to do highlight these all again, or put in the numbers, 141, comma 3. And then close my parentheses. So it's the array, the whole list. So you highlight all your data, then comma 3 because I want the third quartile. That gives me my third quartile. For high, it is equal maximum. That gives me all of that. And let me show you how we're going to get the IQR. We're going to do Q3 minus Q1. Let's take a look at the amazing Excel finding your interquartile range. So these are just Excel basics. You probably learned a lot more about Excel in your CS 120 class, but so this is just kind of Excel basics, but it is so useful for stats. There's so much out there, and every term I learn more, and it's super exciting. Anyway, sorry, I get kind of excited about what I do. So to find my IQR, I need to subtract Q3 from Q1. So watch about this. I'm going to tell Excel to do some math for me. So once again, we always put equal when we want it to calculate something or take something from a different cell or whatever. So I need Q3, so I'm going to click on this, minus, so put the minus sign in there, Q1, and it's going to subtract those two values, and that's going to give me my IQR. So make sure you are making Excel do the math for you. I can see whether or not you did that. I will be deducting points if Excel is not the one doing the math for you. This is the point of the labs. The point of the labs is to have Excel do the work for you, not to do it by hand. All right, that's all I have for you today. Make sure you save this. upload it to the correct assignment, and I will give you feedback as I grade it. Thank you.